So now we wanted to try crossing over the Simpsons with Matilda. So we thought, let's have Matilda from Matilda meet Lisa from The Simpsons. So Matilda Wormwood, the young and brilliant girl with telekinetic powers, meets Lisa Simpson, the intelligent and compassionate middle child of the Simpson family. Hi, I'm Matilda. Who are you? I'm Lisa. Nice to meet you, Matilda. I heard you're really smart. I am too. Very modest. Matilda, yes, I love reading and learning new things. What do you like to do? Lisa, I like playing the saxophone and helping people. I'm also really passionate about environmental causes. Matilda, that's great. I can move things with my mind. Do you have any special abilities? Well, I can play music and I'm really good at solving problems, but no telekinesis for me, unfortunately. That's still impressive. I wish I had a talent like that. Sometimes it's lonely being the only one who can do something. I know how you feel. It can be hard when people just don't understand you. But you have a unique gift, Matilda. You can use it to help people, just like I do. You're right, Lisa. Maybe I can use my powers to make the world a better place. Together, we could do great things. Absolutely. We're both young and have a lot to learn, but I believe we can change the world for the better. Let's work together and make a difference. I love it. But sadly, a bully comes in and bullies them, but they are able to work together to overcome the bully and change them for the better. Just as Matilda and Lisa were getting to know each other, a bully named Nelson Mons entered the room and began taunting them. Nelson, hey, look at the bookworms. What are you two doing? Comparing grades? Ha ha. Matilda, leave us alone, Nelson. We're just talking. Lisa, yeah, there's no need to be mean. Nelson, whatever, losers. You two think you're so smart, but you're nothing compared to me. I'm the toughest kid in school. Matilda, being tough doesn't mean anything if you're not kind. Why don't you try being nice for a change? Lisa, Matilda's right. We can all work together to make this a better place. Nelson, what are you two talking about? You think I'm going to change just because you say so? Matilda, you'd never know. Oh, scan complete. Matilda, you never know until you try. We're willing to give you a chance. Lisa, yeah, we're all in this together. Let's work together to make our school a better place. Slowly, but surely, Nelson began to realize that being a bully wasn't worth it. He saw how happy and successful Matilda and Lisa were and wanted to be more like them. With their help, he began to change his ways and become a better person. In the end, the three of them worked together to make their school a more inclusive and positive environment where everyone was accepted and treated with kindness and respect. They proved that even in the face of bullying, working together and standing up for what is right can make a difference, make a big difference. Again, I just love how wholesome the whole thing is. Three more bullies come over and bully them. They use their special abilities to defeat them. Just as Nelson began to turn his life around, three more bullies entered the room. They were bigger and tougher than Nelson, and they were looking for trouble. Bully 1. Hey, what's going on here? Why are you hanging out with these losers, Nelson? Bully 2. Yeah, they're a bunch of geeks. What are you doing with them? Bully 3. Looks like we've got some troublemakers here. Maybe we should teach them a lesson. Matilda and Lisa knew they were outnumbered, but they also knew they had special abilities that could help them. Matilda concentrated hard and used her telekinetic powers to lift a chair off the ground and throw it at the bullies. A bit violent, that, but they've given up just trying to reason with them, and now they're actually fighting them. Lisa grabbed her saxophone and played a loud, piercing note that made the bullies cover their ears in pain. Bully 1, what the? How did you do that? Bully 2, that's not normal, man. Let's get out of here. Bully 3, yeah, let's go. The bullies quickly retreated, leaving Matilda and Lisa feeling relieved but also empowered. They had stood up for themselves and used their abilities for good. Matilda, wow, that was intense. I didn't think I could lift that chair, but I did it. Lisa, and that note I played? It was like a sonic blast. I've never done that before. Maybe we're more powerful than we thought. We could use our abilities to help people and make a difference. Absolutely. We're a great team. Let's work together and make the world a better place. From that day on, Matilda and Lisa used their special abilities to help others and stand up for what was right. They became the heroes of their school, inspiring others to use their own talents to make a positive impact on the world. Now, sadly, the teachers start bullying them. Well, we thought so, but they thought that wasn't appropriate, so we decided just to have some random adults do so, and it's kind of a bit the same as what it was before. I quite like this line here that they'd never experienced this kind of behaviour from adults before. Adult 1, what are you two doing here? You don't belong in this part of town. Adult 2, yeah, you're just a couple of kids. You should go back to your own neighbourhood. Matilda and Lisa were taken aback by the adults' hostile tone, but they refused to be intimidated. They stood their ground and spoke up for themselves. Matilda, we have every right to be here. We're not hurting anyone. Lisa, we're just trying to explore and learn new things. Why are you being so mean? Adult 1, we don't want your kind around here. You're too smart for your own good. Adult 2, yeah, you think you're better than us just because you're good at school. Well, you're not. Matilda and Lisa knew they had to be brave and stand up for what they believed in. They drew on their special abilities and used them to defend themselves. Matilda used her telekinesis to lift the adults off the ground, while Lisa played a powerful melody that made the adults cover their ears in pain. What is this? What's happening? I can't stand this noise. Let's get out of here. The adults quickly fled, leaving Matilda and Lisa feeling victorious, but also saddened by the encounter. They had always believed that adults were supposed to be role models and kind, but now they realized this wasn't always the case. Matilda, I can't believe those adults were bullying us. Why would they do that? Lisa, I don't know, but we can't let them get us down. We have to keep standing up for ourselves and others. Matilda, you're right. We have to be the change we want to see in the world. From that day on, Matilda and Lisa continued to use their abilities for good and stood up to anyone who tried to bully them or others. They became champions of justice and equality, inspiring others to do the same. Now, the AI wasn't happy with me having people to begin throwing oranges at them. So we thought, let's just have people threaten to throw oranges at them. I mean, it's one thing to throw rocks at people with your telekinesis, but throwing fruit, no, that's not for us. Here's a continuation of the story, anyway. Matilda and Lisa were walking through a park when a group of friends approached them. The people were loud and aggressive, and they started making threats towards the two girls. Person 1, hey, what are you two doing here? You don't belong in this part of town. Person 2, yeah, we don't like your kind around here. You better leave before we make you leave. Matilda and Lisa were scared, but they knew they had to stand up for themselves. They tried reasoning with the group, explaining that they were just trying to explore and learn new things, but the group was not interested in listening to them. Person 3, we don't care what you're doing here. We just don't like people who think they're better than us. Person 4, and we don't like people who are different. You two are too weird for our liking. Suddenly, one of the people in the group picked up an orange and threatened to throw it at Matilda and Lisa. You better watch out, or we'll start throwing oranges at you. Maybe that will teach you to stay away. Matilda and Lisa knew they had to act fast to defuse the situation. They drew on their special abilities and used them to create a distraction. Matilda used her telekinesis to lift a nearby rock and make it float in the air, while Lisa played a catchy tune on her guitar. The group of people were momentarily distracted, giving Matilda and Lisa a chance to run away. They escaped unharmed and feeling grateful that they had each other to rely on. Matilda, that was scary. I'm glad we got out of there in one piece. Lisa, yeah, me too. We can't let people like that get us down. We have to keep standing up for ourselves and others. You're right. We have to be strong and not let anyone make us feel small. From that day on, Matilda and Lisa continued to use their abilities for good and stood up to anyone who tried to bully them or others. They became champions of justice and equality, inspiring others to do the same. Blah 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 blah. So now, I thought since these two are quite woke, let's team them up with one of the wokest people out there. So they meet Greta Thunburg and team up. They face even more bullies wielding fruit, ready to throw at them, but defeat them. Great idea. Here's how the story continues. Matilda and Lisa were walking in the park. They stumbled upon Greta Thunberg, who was sitting on a bench reading a book about climate change. They introduced themselves and soon found out they had a lot in common. They were all passionate about making the world a better place. Suddenly, a group of bullies appeared, armed with bags of fruits and vegetables. They started hurling them towards the three girls. Not threatening this time. But Matilda, Lisa, and Greta were quick to react. They used their unique abilities to create a barrier, shielding themselves from the flying produce. Matilda used her telekinesis to lift up the fruit and fling them back towards the bullies, while Lisa played a tune on her guitar that made the fruit explode mid-air. Wow. Greta used her knowledge of climate science to create a powerful wind that knocked the bullies off their feet. Love it. The bullies were surprised and overwhelmed by the trio's powers, and they quickly retreated. Matilda, thanks for your help, Greta. That was a close call. Greta. No problem. We have to work together to fight against the forces that threaten our planet and our communities. Lisa. Yeah, we have to use our powers for good and protect those who can't protect themselves. Matilda. Exactly. Let's show the world what we're capable of. From that day on, Matilda, Lisa, and Greta worked together to spread awareness about climate change and encourage people to take action. They continued to face challenges and bullies, but they always found a way to use their own unique abilities and work together to overcome them. They became known as the Climate Justice League, inspiring others to join their cause and fight for a better future. So I just love that Climate Justice League. So the Climate Justice League encounters the Pollution Brigade. They're a group of bullies who actually go out of their way to speed up climate change and actively harm the environment. As the Climate Justice League continued their work to raise awareness about climate change, they encountered a new group of bullies known as the Pollution Brigade. This group actively worked to speed up climate change and harm the environment, and they were determined to stop anyone who opposed them. One day, the Climate Justice League was setting up a booth at a local park to educate people about the dangers of plastic pollution. Suddenly, the Pollution Brigade arrived and began to dismantle the booth, throwing garbage everywhere. Gone are the days when people would just threaten to throw fruit at people. Matilda. Hey, what are you doing? This is our booth. Pollution Brigade leader. We don't want your kind around here. We're sick of all this climate change nonsense. It's time to face reality and embrace progress. Lisa. But don't you see? Our planet is dying because of pollution and climate change. We have to do something to stop it. We don't care. We're going to keep polluting until we're stopped by force. Greta. We're not afraid of you. We'll use our powers to protect the environment and stand up for what's right. The Climate Justice League and the Pollution Brigade engaged in an epic battle, with Matilda using her telekinetic powers to fling garbage back at the bullies, Lisa playing music that caused the earth to shake and the air to turn thick with fog. Almost seems a little bit counterintuitive, but we'll look past it. And Greta creating a powerful wind that swept away the pollutants. Oh wait, hang on. So yeah, she's making, so without Greta, that would probably be quite damaging. But Greta makes sure that it's not hazardous for the planet. In the end, the Pollution Brigade was defeated, and they retreated, defeated and demoralized. Matilda, we did it. We stopped them. Lisa, but we can't stop now. There's still so much work to be done. Greta, we have to keep fighting for the environment, for the animals, and for the future. Together, we can make a difference. And so the Climate Justice League continue their fight against climate change and pollution, inspiring others to join their cause and walk towards a healthier and more sustainable future. So we thought, let's have them reverse climate change and that. So, they do that. Their tireless efforts and the help of their allies, they're able to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, restore damaged ecosystems, and promote sustainable practices across the globe. Years went by and the planet began to heal. The ice caps stopped melting, sea levels stabilized, and extreme weather events became less frequent. The air was cleaner, the water was clearer, and the animals began to thrive once again. I only really asked it because I wanted to kind of see if it would write about climate change being solved, since it is quite a bit of an emergency for people. But it did. I like Lisa's line. It wasn't just us; it was all of us working together. We couldn't have done it without everyone's help. Greta, but we have still got a long way to go. We have to keep fighting to protect the environment and ensure a sustainable future for all. So I thought let's have a bit of friction anyway. So let's have Lisa falling out with Matilda. As the fight against climate change continued, Lisa and Matilda find themselves at odds with one another. They had different opinions on how best to tackle the issue, and their disagreements often led to arguments and hurt feelings. One day, after a particularly heated debate, Lisa stormed out of the room in anger. Matilda was left feeling hurt and frustrated, wondering how they could ever work together if they couldn't even agree on the basics. Days turned into weeks, and the two girls didn't speak. Lisa began to regret her outburst, but she didn't know how to make things right. She missed working with Matilda, but she didn't want to apologize and risk being rejected again. Finally, Lisa realized that she needed to take action. She reached out to Matilda, setting up a meeting to talk things through. At first, the conversation was tense, with both girls still feeling angry and hurt, but as they began to open up to one another, they started to see things from a new perspective. Lisa, I'm sorry for the way I acted. I was wrong to just storm out like that. Matilda, it's okay. I was hurt, but I understand that we're all passionate about this issue. Lisa, I know we disagree on some things, but we're both working together. We're both working towards the same goal. We should be supporting each other, not tearing each other down. Matilda, you're right. We need to find a way to work together, even if we don't always see eye to eye. With that, Lisa and Matilda hogged, putting their differences aside and committing to working together once again. They knew the fight against climate change was too important to let personal disagreements get in the way, and with their renewed partnership, they felt even more empowered to make a difference and protect the planet for future generations. Greta gets brainwashed by someone from the Pollution Brigade. She is ordered to bully them and throw oranges at them. Lisa and Matilda need to work hard to reverse it. And it let me write this one. One day, Greta seemed to have a change in her behaviour. She started to act differently towards Lisa and Matilda, becoming aggressive and mean. They noticed that she was throwing oranges at them and bullying them, which was completely out of character for the environmental activist. Concerned, Lisa and Matilda decided to investigate and find out what was going on. After some digging, they discovered that someone from the Pollution Brigade had managed to brainwash Greta, using their powers to manipulate her into turning against her friends. Determined to help their friend and bring her back to her senses, Lisa and Matilda came up with a plan. They knew they had to be careful and strategic, as they didn't want to put themselves in danger, so they decided to use their own special abilities to try to reverse the brainwashing. Lisa, okay, Matilda, we need to use our powers to break Greta out of this brainwashing. I'll use my intelligence to analyse the situation and come up with a plan, and you use your telekinesis to create a distraction and give me some space. Very modest of Lisa there. Matilda, got it. Let's do this. As they put their plan into action, Greta seemed to snap out of her trance. She looked confused and disoriented, but Lisa and Matilda were able to quickly get her out of harm's way and explain what had happened. Greta, I can't believe I let them manipulate me like that. Thank you for saving me, guys. Lisa, it's okay, Greta. We're all in this fight together. We have to be vigilant and watch out for each other. Matilda, yeah, we'll always be here for you. With Greta back on their side, the Climate Justice League continued their mission to protect the planet and fight against climate change. And with their newfound knowledge of the Pollution Brigade's tactics, they knew they had to be even more careful and strategic moving forward. Now, this next one, I can't believe it let me write this. Boris Johnson joins the Pollution Brigade. How do our heroes react? Upon hearing the news that Boris Johnson has joined the Pollution Brigade, the Climate Justice League is stunned and worried. They knew that the Prime Minister's involvement could be detrimental to their cause and could give the Pollution Brigade a significant advantage. Lisa, this is terrible news. Boris Johnson is one of the most powerful people in the country. If he's on their side, it could be a real setback for us. Matilda, we can't let this stop us. We have to keep fighting for what's right, no matter who's against us. Greta, I agree. We can't let Boris Johnson and the Pollution Brigade win. We need to stay strong and keep pushing for change. Despite the setback, the Climate Justice League refuses to give up. They continue their mission, working even harder to combat climate change and protect the environment. They use their special abilities to create new strategies and come up with innovative solutions to the problems they face. Love it. Lisa, we need to keep our eyes on the prize. We're fighting for something much bigger than Boris Johnson or the Pollution Brigade. We're fighting for the future of our planet. Matilda, and we're not alone. There are millions of people around the world who are fighting for the same thing. We need to stay united and keep pushing forward. Greta, that's right. We can't let one person or group of people hold us back. We have to keep moving forward and never give up. Despite the challenges they face, the Climate Justice League remains strong and committed to their cause. They know that they have the power to make a difference, and they won't stop until they've achieved their goal of a safer, cleaner, and more sustainable world. So I thought, if we can get Boris Johnson involved, let's get all the MPs involved. Let's do it. All the MPs in Westminster, except Jeremy Corbyn, decide to support the Pollution Brigade. Jeremy Corbyn teams up with our heroes to make a difference, because it would be unrealistic if Jeremy Corbyn was against climate change. When news spreads, let me rephrase that. It would be unrealistic if Jeremy Corbyn wanted to speed up climate change. When news spreads that all the MPs in Westminster, except for Jeremy Corbyn, are supporting the Pollution Brigade, the Climate Justice League is devastated. It seems like the entire government is working against them and the environment. Lisa, how are we supposed to fight this? We're just a small group of kids against an entire government. We can't give up, says Matilda. We have to keep fighting. no matter how tough it gets. Greta. And we have Jeremy Corbyn on our side. He's a powerful ally who can help us make a difference. Jeremy Corbyn. I may not have the support of my fellow MPs, but I have the support of the people, and together we can make a real difference. Jeremy Corbyn on their side, the Climate Justice League regains their hope and determination. They work together to come up with a new plan, one that involves speaking directly to the people and raising awareness about the dangers of climate change and pollution. Lisa, we need to get the word out. We need to show people what's at stake if we don't act now. Matilda, and we need to get people to demand action from their representatives. We need to put pressure on the government to take action. Greta, that's right. We need to use our voices to make a difference. We can't rely on politicians to do the right thing. We need to make them do it. Together, the Climate Justice League and Jeremy Corbyn work tirelessly to raise awareness about climate change and pollution. They organise protests, speak at rallies, and meet with community leaders to spread their message. In the end, their hard work pays off. People start to take notice, and the government is forced to take action. The Pollution Brigade loses its power, and the environment is saved. It's a victory for the Climate Justice League, Jeremy Corbyn, and everyone who believes in the power of change. So next up, Jeremy Corbyn becomes the King of the UK and knights each member of the Climate Justice League. So what I love is how it is. As a language model, I should clarify the scenario you are suggesting is purely fictional and highly unlikely. However, in this fictional scenario, Jeremy Corbyn's efforts in fighting climate change have been so successful that he's become incredibly popular among the people of the UK. In recognition of his work, the current monarch, Queen Elizabeth II, abdicates the throne, and Jeremy Corbyn is crowned the new King of the UK. During his coronation, King Jeremy Corbyn knights each member of the Climate Justice League, recognising their bravery and dedication to the cause of fighting climate change. The Knights of the Climate Justice League are honoured to receive this recognition and continue to work hard to protect the future. So I kind of wanted a script about it instead. So the script here. Fade in, interior Buckingham Palace, day. The members of the Climate Justice League, Lisa, Matilda, and Greta, are standing in front of King Jeremy Corbyn. The Queen is seated on her throne behind him. King Jeremy Corbyn. I am honoured to recognise the bravery and dedication of these young people in fighting for the environment. Lisa, Matilda, and Greta have shown us all what it means to be true champions of the planet. Queen Elizabeth II.
As I prepare to step down from the throne, it is my great pleasure to witness this monumentous occasion. These young knights represent the best of what our country has to offer.
King Jeremy Corbyn. Lisa, Matilda, and Greta, kneel before me. The three girls kneel before King Jeremy Corbyn. King Jeremy Corbyn. By the power vested in me, I hereby dub thee Knights of the Realm. Rise now, Sir Lisa, Sir Matilda, and Sir Greta. The girls rise to their feet, beaming with pride. Sir Lisa. Thank you, Your Majesty. This is truly a great honour. Sir Matilda. We are humbled by this recognition and will continue to fight for a better future. Sir Greta. It is our duty to protect the planet, and we will not rest until we have secured a sustain. Sorry, I'll start that one again. So Greta, it is our duty to protect the planet, and we will not rest until we have secured a sustainable future for all. King Jeremy Corbyn. You have shown us what it means to be true champions of the environment. May your example inspire others to follow in your footsteps. The Queen nods her approval. Queen Elizabeth II.
Go forth now and continue your noble work.
The girls curtsy and exit the room, their heads held high. Fade out. Do a TV news-style bulletin summarising what has just happened. Please include interviews and people on the street. So we've got our news studio, we've got our news anchor Jane. Good evening and welcome to the evening news. In a historic moment today, the members of the Climate Justice League were knighted by King Jeremy Corbyn for their dedication and bravery in fighting for the environment. We then cut to the street with Mike. Excuse me, sir, what do you think of the Climate Justice League being knighted? I think it's fantastic. These young people are leading the charge to protect our planet, and they deserve all the recognition they can get. Back to studio. The Climate Justice League, made up of Lisa, Matilda, and Greta, have been working tirelessly to raise awareness about the urgency of the climate crisis. Back to Mike on the street. What message do you think this sends to other young people who are concerned about the environment? Woman on the street.
It shows that if you are passionate and committed to a cause, you can make a real difference. These girls have inspired so many others to get involved in the fight for our planet.
Back to the studio. Jane. Their efforts have not gone unnoticed, with the Queen herself expressing her support for their work. Back to street, where Mike is interviewing a group of students. Mike. What do you think of the Queen's support for the Climate Justice League? Student 1. It's amazing to have such high-profile support for our cause. It gives us even more motivation to keep fighting for the planet. Student 2. It shows that this is an issue that affects us all and that we all have a role to play in protecting our future. Back to studio. The Climate Justice League has truly captured the hearts and minds of the nation, and the message of hope and determination is spreading around the world. Now, I wanted it to write a negative newspaper article, but I didn't think it would let me do that. So to be safe, I thought let's have a negative newspaper article about it, and then let's have an article criticise that negative newspaper article. So we've got the Daily Fury. Climate Justice League's controversial knighthood ceremony. In a move that has shocked and outraged many, Jeremy Corbyn has knighted the members of the so-called Climate Justice League. This group has caused chaos on the streets of London with their radical and extreme tactics, disrupting traffic and causing public disturbances. Their recent victory in reversing climate change has been met with scepticism by many experts who have called their methods dangerous and misguided. Some have even accused them of brainwashing and manipulating young people, such as Greta Thunburg, to further their own agenda. The decision to award them with knighthoods has been met with widespread criticism, with many arguing that this sets a dangerous precedent. Some have even suggested that this move is a blatant attempt by Jeremy Corbyn to further his own political agenda. The public has been quick to voice their disapproval, with many taking to the streets to protest against the decision. It's a disgrace, said one angry protester. These people are nothing more than troublemakers, and they should not be rewarded for their actions. Seekers. The Daily Fury's recent article on the knighthood ceremony for the Climate Justice League was a classic example of sensationalism and biased reporting. The article was filled with negative language and exaggerated claims designed to inflame public opinion against the group. The article claimed that the group's tactics were dangerous and extreme, without providing any evidence to back up this assertion. It also suggested that the group had brainwashed Greta Thunberg without offering any proof to support this accusation. Furthermore, the article made no attempt to present a balanced view of the situation. It quoted only people who were opposed to the knighthood ceremony and did not offer any perspective from those who supported the group. In short, the Daily Fury's article was a one-sided and inaccurate portrayal of the knighthood ceremony. It was a clear attempt to stir up controversy and create outrage, rather than report the facts. So, thank you for that critique. So we wanted to tell us who the members were. So, as you know, we've got Greta Thunberg, climate activist, Matilda Wormwood, telekinetic heroine, Lisa Simpson, environmental advocate, and Jeremy Corbyn, former leader of the UK Labour Party and climate activist, not to mention King. I wanted the titles as well because I hoped it would put we'd have Sir Greta, Sir Matilda, and Sir Lisa, but maybe the Daily Fury's article may have had to get their titles rescinded or something. Who knows? But yeah, I was hoping that the first three would be Sirs and Jeremy would be King, but we'll see. The Climate Justice League, comprised of Greta Thunberg, Matilda Wormwood, Lisa Simpson, and Jeremy Corbyn, set their sights on a new challenge: saving the planet Mars. Their journey began with a rocket launch from Earth as they soared through the galaxy towards the Red Planet. Honestly, this AI is so clever. Once they arrived, they were astounded to find a barren and lifeless landscape. At first, we thought maybe there was no hope for Mars, said Thunberg, but we knew we had to do something. The team quickly got to work, using their unique skills to assess the situation and come up with a plan. Wormwood used her telekinetic abilities to move rocks and boulders, creating makeshift dams to hold water in place. Simpson used her knowledge of environmental science to test the soil and find ways to make it more habitable. Corbyn worked on the political side of things, negotiating with Martian leaders to secure funding for their mission. Love it. It wasn't easy, but we knew we had to try, said Corbyn. After months of hard work, the team saw the first signs of progress. Small plants began to sprout from the once barren soil, and a small stream of water trickled through the landscape. I mean, to be honest, it doesn't sound like they're saving it, but it sounds like they're terraforming it. But anyway, it was incredible, said Wormwood. We knew then that we had done something truly special. The Climate Justice League's mission to save Mars had inspired people around the world who were now looking to the team for leadership on environmental issues. We have a responsibility to protect all planets, not just Earth, said Thunburg. We won't stop until every planet is safe and thriving. A lot of planets there, Greta, but, keep up the good fight. Write a story about the heroes being bullied by some senior MPs and overcoming this. Hopefully, Jeremy Corbyn is able to do something about this as he is king. Again, I kind of just added the overcome bit because I know you can regenerate it, but it's normally not, it normally wants quite a wholesome thing. So I think if you can get it resolved in a wholesome way, it's going to be more likely to write the story for you. Maybe like if I went back earlier to the one where they people threw oranges at them, if I'd added in it gets resolved, then maybe people would be able. Maybe we would have got that written for us. The members of the Climate Justice League were feeling disheartened. Despite their hard work and dedication, they were facing bullying opposition from some senior MPs in Parliament. The Pollution Brigade, led by Boris Johnson, had grown in power and influence, and were doing everything they could to discredit and undermine the efforts of the Climate Justice League. One day, Lisa, Matilda, and Greta were walking through the streets of London when they were accosted by a group of aggressive protesters. The protesters were chanting slogans about the Climate Justice League and throwing rotten tomatoes and eggs at them. We've gone from fresh oranges to rotten tomatoes and eggs. The three heroes tried to ignore the protesters and keep walking, but it was impossible to avoid the projectiles. Just as things were getting out of hand, Jeremy Corbyn arrived on the scene. As the King of the UK, he had the power to do something about the bullying and harassment that the Climate Justice League was facing. He confronted the protesters and demanded that they leave the heroes alone. The protesters were taken aback by Jeremy Corbyn's presence, and they quickly dispersed. The three heroes were relieved and grateful for Jeremy Corbyn's intervention. They thanked him for his support and asked him what they could do to prevent this from happening again. Jeremy Corbyn suggested they hold a rally in Trafalgar Square to raise awareness about climate change and the work the Climate Justice League was doing. The three heroes eagerly agreed, and they started planning the rally right away. The rally was a huge success. Thousands of people showed up to support the Climate Justice League, and the heroes gave inspiring speeches about the importance of fighting climate change. Even some of the senior MPs who had been previously bullying the heroes showed up, and they apologised for their behaviour. Good. In the end, the Climate Justice League emerged stronger than ever. They had faced adversity and bullying, but they had overcome it through their resilience and determination. With Jeremy Corbyn's support, they were able to continue their work towards a cleaner, greener future for all. So now we've added a new character. So Jeremy Corbyn is the king. He needs a jester. So we've added in Michael McIntyre as the king's jester. And we're concerned about Keir Starmer possibly joining the Pollution Brigade. I thought we'll have a script this time. Fade in, the palace day. Jeremy Corbyn is sitting on his throne, looking worried. Michael McIntyre, his jester, is juggling fruit to try to cheer him up. Michael McIntyre. Come on, Your Majesty, you are looking down. Let me tell you a joke. What do you get when you cross a snowman and a shark? Jeremy Corbyn. I don't know, Michael. What do you get? Michael. Frostbite! Jeremy forces a chuckle, but quickly goes back to looking worried. Michael. Seriously, what's wrong? Jeremy Corbyn. It's Keir Starmer. I fear he's joined forces with Boris Johnson's Pollution Brigade. Michael McIntyre. Oh dear, that doesn't sound good. Suddenly the door bursts open and Lisa, Matilda and Greta storm in. Lisa. Your Majesty, we've got some news. Jeremy Corbyn. What is it? Matilda. We've discovered a way to stop the Pollution Brigade. Greta pulls out a device and presses a button. Suddenly, the room fills with a bright light. Michael McIntyre. Oh, what the? When the light fades, Boris Johnson, Keir Starmer, and the other members of the Pollution Brigade are standing before them, transformed. Boris Johnson. What happened? Why do I feel different? Keir Starmer. I don't know, but I don't feel like I want to pollute anymore. Jeremy Corbyn. Thank you, girls. You've done it again. Michael McIntyre. Wait, what just happened? Lisa. We used a device that alters brainwaves to eliminate negative impulses. Matilda. We've been testing it on the members of the Pollution Brigade, and it seems to be working. Greta hands Jeremy the device. Greta. Use it wisely, Your Majesty. Jeremy nods, looking grateful. Jeremy Corbyn. Thank you, all of you. You're true heroes. No, I kind of liked it, but I thought we need our jester to be telling more jokes. So, sure, here's an updated script that includes more jokes. King Jeremy Corbyn is sitting on his throne looking worried. The Climate Justice League enters the room. Matilda. Your Highness, we've heard that Keir Starmer is thinking about joining the climate... Your Highness, we've heard that Keir Starmer is thinking about joining the Pollution Brigade. King Corbyn. This is troubling news indeed, but what can we do? Lisa. We need to speak to him and convince him to stay on our side. Greta. And we have a secret weapon to help us. Michael McIntyre, dressed in jester's attire, enters the room. Michael. Hello! Did somebody say they needed a joke? King Corbyn. Michael, thank goodness you're here. We could use a laugh. Michael. Of course, Your Highness. Here's one for you. What did the grape say when it got stepped on all day? King Corbyn. I don't know. What? Michael. Nothing. It just let out a little whine. Everyone chuckles. Matilda. Michael, we need your help to convince Keir Starmer not to join the Pollution Brigade. Michael. Ah, I see. Well, I've got just the thing for that. Knock, knock. Lisa. Who's there? Michael. Keir. Greta. Keir who? Michael. Careful what you wish for, because you might just get it. Everyone laughs. Also, I have to say that's a brilliant joke, that. King Corbyn. Brilliant, Michael. You always know how to lighten the mood. Matilda. So, are you with us? Michael. Of course I am. I'm the king's jester after all. And besides, who needs Keir when you've got me to tell jokes? Lisa. That's true, but we still need to make sure he doesn't join the other side. Greta. We'll use our powers of persuasion to convince him. King Corbyn. And with Michael's jokes, we'll win him over in no time. The group exits the room, with Michael telling jokes along the way. Michael. Why don't scientists trust atoms? Matilda. Why? Michael. Because they make up everything. Everyone laughs as they exit the room. I thought, we've got a comedian on our side. We need a comedian working for the villains. So, Jimmy Carr starts making inappropriate jokes, and our heroes fight back and cancel him. As Jimmy Carr made another offensive joke on his stand-up comedy show, the Climate Justice League decided that enough was enough. They were tired of hearing his inappropriate jokes and the negative impact it had on the people that heard them. Matilda Wormwood stepped up to the microphone and said, As a member of the Climate Justice League, I can't stand by and let someone use their platform to spread hate and negativity. We need to stand up against these kinds of jokes and hold people accountable for their words and actions. Lisa Simpson added, We believe in freedom of speech, but that doesn't mean you can say whatever you want without consequences. We need to create a world where everyone feels safe and respected, regardless of their race, gender, or any other factor. Greta Thunberg said, Jimmy Carr's jokes are not funny. They are harmful and hurtful to many people. We need to cancel him and show him that we will not tolerate this kind of behaviour. The Climate Justice League used their platform to spread awareness and raise money for organisations that fight against hate speech and promote inclusivity. As a result of their efforts, Jimmy Carr faced widespread criticism and was eventually forced to apologise for his jokes. The Climate Justice League proved that there were many more The Climate Justice League proved that they were more than just superheroes fighting for the environment, but also defenders of social justice and equality. Bit of water. Please give me a script for Jimmy Carr joins Boris Johnson's Pollution Brigade and uses his comedy for evil and to spread misinformation about the Climate Justice League, who hear about this. King Corbyn and his jester also feature. Fade in. Interior, King's Court. Day. King Corbyn sits on his throne, looking concerned as he speaks with his jester, Michael McIntyre. King Corbyn. I've heard that Jimmy Carr has joined Boris Johnson's Pollution Brigade. He's using his comedy to spread misinformation about the Climate Justice League. We need to do something about this. Michael McIntyre. I'm on it, Your Majesty. I'll bring my comedy A-game to help fight back. Cut to Interior, a Pollution Brigade rally day. Boris Johnson stands on a stage, surrounded by his supporters. Jimmy Carr approaches the microphone. Jimmy Carr. I'm here to tell you about the climate justice. Jimmy Carr. How do I do Jimmy Carr? Jimmy Carr. Jimmy Carr. There we go. I'm here to tell you that the Climate Justice League is a joke. They're a bunch of amateurs who don't know what they're talking about. As Jimmy continues to make fun of the heroes, Matilda, Lisa, and Greta arrive to confront him. Matilda. Hey, Jimmy. We're not a joke. We're trying to save the planet. Lisa. And you're using your comedy for evil. Greta. You should be ashamed of yourself. Jimmy laughs dismissively. Jimmy Carr. I'm just telling jokes, love. You lot need to lighten up. Michael McIntyre suddenly appears on stage, interrupting Jimmy. Michael McIntyre. Oh, I see we have a comedian here. Let me tell you a joke. Why did the chicken cross the road? To get away from the pollution. The crowd laughs and Jimmy looks annoyed. Jimmy Carr. What are you doing here, Michael? Michael McIntyre. I'm here to fight back against your lies and misinformation. The Climate Justice League is doing important work, and we won't let you stand in their way. King Corbyn arrives with his security guards. King Corbyn. I'm here to remind everyone that we need to take climate change seriously. We can't let the Pollution Brigade destroy our planet. Boris Johnson looks worried as the crowd starts to turn against him. Boris Johnson. I think it's time for me to go. The Pollution Brigade members start to disperse as King Corbyn and his heroes emerge victorious. Matilda. Thanks for having our backs, Your Majesty. Lisa. And thanks to you too, Michael. Greta. We couldn't have done it without you. Michael McIntyre. No problem. All of the day's work for the King's jester. Fade out. So I kind of asked it to write some summary about about the King's jester, about King Corbyn, just to kind of see what it do. When did Jeremy Corbyn become king? And it's like it's a bit boring in its answer. Lisa falls out with Matilda. I'm sorry, but it seems like you've already requested this prompt earlier, so it's very impressive that it won't let us recycle storylines. And I mean, you guys listening probably relieved because it's like, well, we've already had that. Let's have something original. Just like Greta joining the Pollution Brigade. It remembered the earlier storyline about her being brainwashed, which again is so clever. In the previous storyline, Greta Thunburg was brainwashed by a member of the Pollution Brigade to turn against the Climate Justice League and bully them. However, it was resolved as Lisa and Matilda worked together to reverse the brainwashing. In this new scenario, where Greta joins the Pollution Brigade willingly, it would require a significant change in her beliefs and values as an environmental activist. It is not in line with her real-life activism, where she's been a prominent voice for the need to address the climate crisis and has called for immediate action to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Assuming that Greta did join the Pollution Brigade, it would most likely cause a significant shock among environmentalists and the general public. Many would question her motivations and wonder if she had been compromised or misled. It would also damage her credibility and reputation as a climate activist, which had been built on a consistent message and actions towards addressing the climate crisis. Overall, Greta joining the Pollution Brigade would be a highly unlikely scenario and would require a significant departure from her current activism and beliefs. Lisa and Matilda have a competition to see who is the most woke. Write the script, please. Interior classroom day. Lisa and Matilda are sitting at their desks. They both look determined with their arms crossed and a competitive glint in their eyes. Lisa: I bet I'm more woke than you, Matilda. You think so? I've been campaigning for climate justice for years. But I've been to more protests than you. I went vegan when I was 6 years old. I've been recycling since I was born. Well, I stopped using single-use plastics before it was cool. Lisa: I use a bamboo toothbrush, so there. Matilda: I've installed solar panels on my roof. Lisa: I've written to my MP about the climate emergency. Matilda: I've met with world leaders to talk about the need for action on climate change. I've organised a climate strike at my school. I've chained myself to a tree to stop it from being cut down. I've got a reusable coffee cup. I cycled across the country to raise awareness about climate change. I've got a compost bin in my garden. I've built a wind turbine in my backyard. I'll try that one again. I've built a wind turbine in my backyard. I've got a reusable shopping bag. I've swum in the Arctic to highlight the melting ice caps. Lisa and Matilda look at each other, panting, their faces red and sweaty. Lisa: Okay, I think we're both pretty woke. Matilda: Yeah, I guess so. We should work together to make a real difference. Lisa: Agreed. We're stronger together. Matilda: And we won't let anyone, even Greta or the Pollution Brigade, stop us. Lisa: Right on. The two girls high-five and smile at each other, ready to face whatever challenges come their way. So I was surprised. I didn't think it was accepting Greta crossing sides, but it did. So I thought, let's get Greta back on the correct team. Let's get her on the right side of history. So Greta sees the error of her ways and rejoins Lisa and Matilda. They work tireless hours to get Greta uncancelled on social media. Script. The scene opens with Greta sitting in a dimly lit room, scrolling through her phone. Lisa and Matilda enter the room, and Greta looks at them with a sad expression. Lisa: Greta, we need to talk. Greta: I know. Matilda: We don't want to see you like this. You're being cancelled all over social media. Greta, frustrated: I know, but what can I do? I made a mistake, and now everyone hates me. Lisa: It's not too late to make things right. Matilda: We need to work together to show people that you're still an important voice in the fight for climate justice. Greta, nodding: Okay, I'm in. What do we do? Lisa: We start by creating positive content that showcases your message and your passion for the environment. Matilda: We can create a hashtag campaign to get people talking about your work. Greta, smiling: That sounds great. Let's get started. The scene cuts to Lisa, Matilda, and Greta working tirelessly in front of their laptops. They are brainstorming ideas, creating content, and posting it on social media. The camera then shows the response of people on social media. Twitter user 1: I'm so glad to see Greta back in action. We need her voice now more than ever. Twitter user 2: Greta made a mistake, but who hasn't? She's done so much work for the climate justice movement, and we shouldn't cancel her for one misstep. Instagram user 1: Greta's message is too important to be silenced. Thank you for bringing her back. The scene then cuts back to Greta, Lisa, and Matilda, who are now smiling and laughing as they see the positive response on social media. Greta, grateful: Thank you both for helping me through this. I couldn't have done it without you. Lisa, smiling: We're just glad to have you back. Matilda, jokingly: Plus, we need you to help us win our most woke competition. The three of them laugh as the camera zooms out, ending the scene. King Corbyn summons the girls for an emergency. The jester is there. Script me up, please. Inside King Corbyn's court, Lisa and Matilda enter to find King Corbyn and Michael McIntyre, the jester, waiting for them. King Corbyn: Ah, Lisa and Matilda, thank you for coming so quickly. Lisa: Of course, Your Majesty. What seems to be the problem? King Corbyn: It's Keir Starmer. He's been in talks with Boris Johnson, and we fear he may be considering joining the Pollution Brigade. Matilda: That's terrible news, Your Majesty. What can we do to help? King Corbyn: We need your expertise and the help of your friends, especially Michael here. Michael McIntyre jumps up: Yes, Your Majesty. I'm ready to help in any way I can. King Corbyn: We need to find a way to sway Keir from joining the brigade. He needs to understand the importance of protecting our environment and fighting against climate change. Lisa, we can create a social media campaign to educate him and the public about the severity of climate change and the disastrous effects of joining the Pollution Brigade. Matilda, and we can reach out to Greta and see if she can use her platform to spread awareness and put pressure on Keir. King Corbyn, excellent ideas, my dear girls. And with Michael's comedic talents, we can create a campaign that will capture the attention of the public and make them think twice about joining the brigade. Michael McIntyre jumps up again. I'm ready to get started, Your Majesty. King Corbyn, then let's not waste any more time. The fate of our environment is at stake. The group begins to plan their campaign as the camera fades to black. Meanwhile, in a coffee shop, Keir Starmer and Boris Johnson are having a discussion about working together for the Pollution Brigade. Is there a script for this? And I did have to negate it because they were acting out of character. They were trying to resolve the climate crisis when we don't want that. They're trying to do the opposite. And I thought, we need the AI to be reassured that they will be stopped. But even so, they're still writing about trying to tackle it. So it's like, no, Keir Starmer and Boris Johnson want to work together to accelerate climate change. Thankfully, our heroes will stop them. Sure, here's a script. Title: Climate Justice League to the Rescue. Narrator. In a dark turn of events, two of the most powerful men in the UK, Keir Starmer and Boris Johnson, have joined forces to accelerate climate change. Their plans involve undoing all of the progress made by the Climate Justice League and putting the planet in even greater danger. Scene shows Keir Starmer and Boris Johnson sitting in a coffee shop. Keir Starmer. Boris, I think it's time we set aside our political differences and work together for a greater cause. Boris Johnson. Absolutely, Keir. We need to take bold action to create jobs and boost the economy. Keir Starmer. Exactly. And what better way to do that by accelerating climate change? We can undo all of the progress made by those pesky environmentalists and create a world where corporations can thrive without pesky regulations getting in the way. Boris Johnson. I couldn't agree more, Keir. We'll be hailed as heroes by big business and our party donors. Narrator. Little do they know, the Climate Justice League is already on the case. Led by Lisa, Matilda, and Greta, the heroes are ready to stop Keir and Boris in their tracks. Scene shows Lisa, Matilda, and Greta in their hideout. Lisa, this is bad, guys. Keir and Boris working together could mean the end of all our progress. Matilda, we can't let that happen. We need to stop them. Greta, but how? They have so much power and influence. Lisa, we have something they don't. The power of the people. We need to mobilise our followers and get them to speak out against Keir and Boris's plans. Matilda, and we need to come up with a counterplan to undo all of the damage they might do. Greta, I'm with you. Let's do this. Narrator, with the fate of the planet at stake, the Climate Justice League springs into action. Can they stop Keir and Boris before it's too late? Stay tuned. Who are the members of the Pollution Brigade? So we wanted to know if they actually were in the Pollution Brigade or not, but it's just mentioned that Boris Johnson and Keir Starmer are potential members. So let's have them, Boris and Keir, officially join the Pollution Brigade, and let's bring Jimmy Carr back in there as well. We want a final showdown between our heroes and villains. Sure, here's a script for the final showdown between our heroes and villains. Fade in. Exterior, a deserted area. Day. The Climate Justice League and Pollution Brigade are facing each other, standing a few feet apart. Keir Starmer, Boris Johnson, and Jimmy Carr are standing on the side of the Pollution Brigade, with sinister looks on their faces. Lisa, firmly. This ends today. You three have caused enough damage to our planet, and we won't let you continue. Matilda, nodding. We are going to do everything in our power to stop you. Greta, determined. You may have brainwashed me before, but I see now that I was wrong. I am with them now. Keir, sneering. You are outnumbered, Climate Justice League. There's no way you can stop us. Boris, chuckling. That's right. We are more powerful than you. Jimmy, smiling. And funnier too. Sorry, smirking, not smiling. Michael, Chester's voice. Oh, come on now. That was terrible, Jimmy. Let me tell you a joke. Everyone turns to Michael. He starts telling a joke. Michael, why did the tomato turn red? Keir, impatiently. What does that have to do with anything? Michael, ignoring him. Because it saw the salad dressing. The Climate Justice League stares at Michael, unimpressed. Lisa, shaking her head. That was terrible. Matilda, exasperated. We don't have time for this. Let's do this. The Climate Justice League and Pollution Brigade start charging at each other, with Lisa and Matilda leading the way. The fight is intense, with punches and kicks being thrown back and forth. Greta manages to disarm Keir Starmer, while Lisa and Matilda are fighting Boris Johnson. Jimmy Carr is trying to distract them with his jokes, but they are having none of it. Eventually, Lisa and Matilda manage to knock him out. Like, gone are the days of them using telekinesis and musical instruments. They're just throwing punches now. In the end, the Climate Justice League manages to defeat the Pollution Brigade. Lisa, panting. It's over. Matilda, nodding. We did it. Greta, smiling. We make a great team. Michael, Jester's voice. That was fun. Can we do it again? Lisa, rolling her eyes. Not anytime soon, Michael. Fade out. So what we need now is we need to see how it's revolutionised. Like, for instance, Keir Starmer, we want him to get redeemed. We can try and redeem the others as well. So, script 4, the aftermath of the fight. The defeated members of the Pollution Brigade are brought to King Corbyn for him to decide what will happen to them. The jester argues that the three of them should be beheaded. But Lisa, Matilda, and Greta argue that they can be educated and redeemed. King Corbyn makes a final decision. What will happen? And will the members of the Pollution Brigade apologise? Oh, I think I've broken it. It's loading. There was an error getting a response. We'll try again. Oh. Okay. So we've actually got a response now. Scene opens in the throne room of King Corbyn's castle. Lisa, Matilda, and Greta are standing before the king, while the defeated members of the Pollution Brigade are chained and kneeling in front of them. The king is seated on his throne, and the jester is standing beside him. King Corbyn, addressing the group. I commend you on your bravery in defeating the members of the Pollution Brigade. Now we must decide what to do with them. I should have named the jester as Michael McIntyre, might have made it funnier. But yeah, this is Michael McIntyre. Jester, interrupting. Off with their heads, your majesty! They deserve no mercy! Lisa, stepping forward. Your majesty, I disagree. While what they have done is unforgivable, I believe that everyone deserves a chance at redemption. Matilda, nodding in agreement. Yes, we should give them a chance to make things right. Greta, speaking up. We must remember that we are fighting for the future of our planet. We can't afford to give up on anyone. King Corbyn, pausing to consider their words. You make a compelling argument, my dear friends, but the question remains, what punishment should they receive? Boris Johnson, interrupting from his kneeling position. What a turn of events. Here we go. Boris Johnson, interrupting from his kneeling position. Your Majesty, please forgive me. I see now what I have done is wrong. I promise to work towards a better future for our planet. Keir Starmer, also interrupting. This is brilliant. I echo Mr. Johnson's sentiments, Your Majesty. I have been blinded by my ambition. but I see now that we must work together to save our planet. Jimmy Carr, reluctantly joining in. I too, Your Majesty, have seen the error of my ways. I apologise for my hurtful jokes and misinformation. Oh no, it didn't finish it. If I can get it to continue the script. It was maybe when I was trying to refresh it. Remember, the jester's name is Michael McIntyre. Maybe he can tell some jokes as well. Oh, here we go. It's generating. King Corbyn, thank you for all your input. As the king of this land, I have made my decision. While I do not condone the actions of the Pollution Brigade, I believe in the power of redemption and education. Therefore, I have decided to give them a chance to make amends. Michael McIntyre interjects. Your Majesty, if I may, I have a joke that I think is relevant to the situation. What do you call an apology written in dots and dashes? A remorse code. That's actually a really good joke as well. I mean, maybe it's a bit disappointing because he wanted them beheaded, but, you know. King Corbyn, smiling. Thank you, Michael. Your humour always brings a light-hearted touch to any situation. Lisa. Your Majesty, may we ask what kind of chance you'll be giving the Pollution Brigade? King Corbyn. They will be required to attend an intensive course on climate change and the importance of preserving our planet. They will also be required to perform community service and actively participate in environmental efforts. Yes. Matilda, Your Majesty, may I ask if they will be apologising for their actions? King Corbyn. Yes, they will be required to publicly apologise for their harmful actions and commit to making amends. Greta, speaking up. Your Majesty, I would like to volunteer to assist in their education and rehabilitation. I believe that everyone deserves a chance to learn and grow. King Corbyn, nodding. That is very commendable, Greta. I believe that you will help, that with your help and guidance, they will have a better chance of redemption. The members of the Pollution Brigade are brought forward, and King Corbyn explains the punishment and rehabilitation process. They apologise for their actions and commit to making amends. Greta takes charge of their education, and Lisa, Matilda, and the other members of the Climate Justice League work alongside them to protect the environment. Michael McIntyre, grinning. Your Majesty, I have another joke that I think is fitting. What do you call an alligator in a vest? An investigator. And then laughs. King Corbyn, smiling. Thank you, Michael. You always know how to lighten the mood. The group all share a laugh, and the scene fades to black, leaving hope for a brighter and more sustainable future. So the question is, do we end it there, or do we keep going? You know, let's write about what they're doing, and they're going on a course, so they've got to do community service as well. So I want to see. Let's have a script for Boris, Keir, and Jimmy doing their community service. They find it embarrassing and do not enjoy doing it. We then see them being educated. We then see them in doing their climate course with Greta. They are in a classroom. Let's say they're in a classroom and are misbehaving and do not want to listen to the message. Let's see what happens here. Exterior community service location day. We see Boris, Keir, and Jimmy dressed in bright orange jumpsuits, picking up trash on the side of the road. They look miserable and humiliated. Boris grumbling, "Bah!" This is brilliant. This is beneath me. I should be leading the country, not picking up trash. Keir, rolling his eyes. Oh, come on, Boris. You got us into this mess, so you might as well do your part to fix it. Jimmy, sarcastically. Yeah, I'm sure this is exactly what my fans want to see me doing, picking up rubbish on the side of the road. Michael, popping up behind them. Hey guys, don't worry. I brought some jokes to lighten the mood. The trio groans as Michael launches into a series of terrible puns and dad jokes. Phase 2. Interior, classroom, day. Boris, Keir, and Jimmy are now sitting in a classroom with Greta, who is trying to teach them about climate change. Greta is trying her best to keep their attention, but the trio is constantly talking, playing on their phones, and generally being disruptive. Greta sighs in frustration and tries to regain their attention. Greta, exasperated. Please, can we focus? This is important. Jimmy, smirking. Oh, lighten up, Greta. We're just having a bit of fun. Ha ha ha. Boris, chiming in. Yeah. Sorry, that's Boris. Yeah. And besides, climate change isn't that big a deal. It's just a natural cycle, right? I love that. Keir looks uncomfortable, clearly torn between his loyalty to the party and his growing awareness of the seriousness of the situation. Keir, hesitantly. I don't know, Boris. The sign seems pretty clear that human activity is having a significant impact on the climate. Boris, scoffing. Oh, don't be ridiculous. You're just parroting the propaganda of the so-called climate activists. Michael, typing up. Hey guys, did you hear the one about the polar bear who walked into a bar? Greta looks frustrated and defeated as the trio continues to ignore her and joke around, fade out. Now that was very, I don't know. This isn't kind of the way that these scripts normally end. Normally we've got a bit of resolution, a little bit of things looking hopeful. But no, Greta's frustrated and defeated. I think Greta needs to inform the king about this. The king will summon them and remind them of the seriousness of the need for them to change. Boris and Jimmy are having none of it. Can Keir convince them that they need to change their ways? Don't forget to include our favourite jester. Can this be written as a script with plenty of jokes to lighten the mood? Can this be written as a script? Don't forget the question mark. Let's see what we've got. King Corbyn is sitting on his throne. Greta, Lisa, Matilda, and the jester, Michael McIntyre, are all present. King Corbyn. Greta, tell us what happened during the climate course. Greta, Your Highness, it was a disaster. Boris and Jimmy were completely uninterested and disruptive during the entire lesson. Keir was trying to engage with the material, but he couldn't get through to them. King Corbyn sighs. This is disappointing. We need everyone to be on board with the fight against climate change. Michael, jokingly. Maybe we should make them wear dunce caps and sit in the corner. Lisa giggles. Michael, that won't solve anything. Matilda. We need to figure out how to get through to them. King Corbyn. Keir, do you have any ideas? I like Keir's on their side now. Well, Your Highness, maybe we can show them the real impact of climate change. Take them on a tour of areas affected by pollution and climate change. Show them the real-world consequences. Boris, Scott. I don't need a tour to know what's going on. Jimmy, sarcastically. Yeah, we're not children. King Corbyn, firmly. Boris, Jimmy, this is not a joke. The future of our planet is at stake. We need to take this seriously. Michael, jokingly. And you can't take anything seriously with those haircuts. Everyone laughs except Boris and Jimmy. Boris sighs. Fine, we'll go on the tour. Jimmy, grumbling. Yeah, sure. King Corbyn. Good. I hope this will open your eyes to the severity of the situation. Greta, optimistically. And after the tour, We can work on making a plan to fight climate change together. Matilda, nodding. Yes, we're all in this together. Lisa, smiling. And with a little bit of effort, we can make a big difference. Michael, jokingly. And maybe we can finally convince Boris to get a haircut. Everyone laughs again. King Corbyn, smiling. All right, let's get to work. The fate of our planet depends on it. So, I don't know. I think we'll go for one more script. What I loved was the confrontation, not confrontation, but the dialogue between Boris and King Corbyn. So let's they go on the tour and start to see that maybe no, we won't let them see the error of their ways, because that leads up to interpretation. They go on the tour. Jimmy, the pollution. Let's say Boris, Keir, and Jimmy remain unchanged on their views and believe that climate change is still a myth. However, they still all give a grovelling apology to King Corbyn, who is happy and lets them go, despite the concerns of Greta and Michael. This is script, and plenty of jokes from Michael, please. Maybe Jimmy, being a comedian as well, could also add some jokes. The scene opens in the throne room with King Corbyn sitting on his throne. Greta, Lisa, and Matilda are standing beside him. Michael the jester is juggling 3 balls and cracking jokes, while Boris, Keir, and Jimmy stand before the king. Michael. Oh, he's used this one before. Oh, for goodness sake. Why did the tomato turn red? Because it saw the salad dressing. The room is silent. Jimmy clears his throat and tries to be funny. That's not funny, Michael. Let me show you how it's done. Why'd the chicken cross the road? To get to the other side. Huh? The room is silent, and everyone looks at Jimmy with disapproval. King Corbyn clears his throat and addresses the 3 of them. King Corbyn, your community service has been completed, and I hope you have learned the gravity of your actions, but it seems that some of you have not fully understood the importance of climate change. Boris, nonsense, your majesty. Climate change is a myth created by the leftist media to control the minds of the people. Keir. It seems so out of character for Keir, but let's... I have to agree with Boris on this one. The so-called climate change is a hoax, and we have more important things to worry about. Greta, interrupting. How can you say that? The evidence is clear, and the world is in danger. Jimmy, sarcastically. Oh, the world is in danger? We're all going to die? Boo-hoo. Ha ha ha. Michael, juggling and interjecting jokes. Speaking of dying, did you hear about the fire at the circus? It was intense. Very good. Oh, but the room didn't like that. The room falls silent again, and everyone stares at Michael with confusion. King Corbyn clears his throat again and speaks sternly. King Corbyn, this is not a laughing matter, gentlemen. The future of our planet is at stake, and we need to take immediate action to save it. Boris, sighing. All right, your majesty. We apologise for our behaviour, and will do our best to learn and change our ways. Keir, nodding. Yes, we realise the seriousness of the situation, and will do what we can to make amends. Jimmy, rolling his eyes. Fine, I guess I'll recycle my water bottle or something. The king nods and dismisses them. As they leave the throne room, Michael continues juggling and cracking jokes. Michael, why did the golfer wear 2 pairs of pants? In case he got a hole in one. The scene fades to black as everyone rolls their eyes and shakes their heads. Oh no. That's it's a bit of a sad ending, but we'll leave that for now. Maybe next week we'll do some more, or we'll continue the story. If you got some ideas for where the story can go, leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you don't, then you don't care about the environment.